Hey y'all. So this evening I am actually just going to do a good friend of mine's facial. And I'm starting off with the lipid replacing gel cleanser by Circadia. Her condition is she has post inflammation hyperpigmentation and it's caused by hormonal acne for her. So tonight we're just gonna do a brightening facial on her. And we're also introducing chemical peels as well. Now, normally, whenever I do chemical peels, I don't do them on the first facial. That's just not really my thing. I know that some people do, but it's never really been my thing because I like to get to know your skin barrier first, make sure that your skin barrier isn't compromised or anything like that. And they do have gentle chemical peels that we can start off with, but for now, I typically don't do them on the first facial. So yeah. So the very first product that I'm going in with is going to be the lipid replacing gel cleanser. And this cleanser, it is basically going to help with cleansing, gently cleansing dirt, makeup, excess oils, but it doesn't damage the skin barrier and it doesn't break up the keratin that's already in the skin. So it helps with pretty much just removing the day without causing any severe damage or any like significant change, if that makes sense. It is a foaming gel, which I really like. It is anti-inflammatory, soothing, and softening. And then it also has surfactants in it. It's also gonna have the vitamin B5, so it's regenerative and soothing as well. The second cleanser that I used this evening is going to be the Mandelic Cleansing Gel. This cleanser is really good for darker Fitzpatrick, darker skin tone. So it's going to help with reducing fine lines and wrinkles, uneven skin texture. It also is exfoliating and it also reduces acne. So pretty much it has T inhibitors in it that is going to basically stop the skin from producing melanin in a sense, if that makes sense. But it helps with unclogging pores, reducing fine lines and wrinkles, and reducing dark spots by inhibiting the tyrosinase inhibitors in our skin that produces melanin. What I like about it is one, it lathers really, really well. As you can see, it lathered way more than what the lipid replacing gel cleanser did, in my opinion. But I typically recommend using this every other day and maybe even only at night because it can dry the skin out because it is an exfoliating cleanser. It's not going to be a gentle cleanser. Mandelic acid is an AHA, alpha hydroxy acid, and the best way that it was explained to me is the AHAs, they basically eat the dead skin, whereas BHAs, it kind of just breaks it down so that way it just comes off. So the next product, I'm gonna go in with the Australian Superberry antioxidant mask. So I actually went out of order with this because I wanted to dermaplane her first, but this is just kind of where we are, and I did correct it afterwards. So here I'm gonna go in with the Australian Superberry mask. I am using a fan brush to apply this mask. Normally I'll just use my hands, but tonight I opted for a fan brush just because I wasn't really feeling it. Because we're doing this at my house and she is my friend, I am in gym clothes. Normally I would either be dressed up or I would be in scrubs. It just kind of depends on my mood. But because, like I said, because she's my friend and because we're at home, I am just in my gym clothes because I do believe we did work out prior to her facial. So the Australian Super Berry Mask is really good for brightening. It has antioxidants, it's anti-inflammatory, and it's also hydrating. It does have azelaic acid in it, which is really good for a T inhibitor, anti-aging. It's also going to be really good for antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and azelaic acid is also really good for rosacea. This one also has lactic acid in it as well as mandelic acid in it, which are all really good T inhibitors. So, like I said, we're doing a gentle brightening facial without doing a chemical peel on her, pretty much. So now I'm just going in and I'm tweezing her like chin hairs and everything because, like I said, I'm pretty sure that her PIH is hormonal. So yeah. The mask, the Super Berry mask is also going to be really good for dry, dehydrated skin that needs like to come back to life. So I would highly recommend to try it. Now, as far as the protocol for this particular facial, there is a specific protocol for it. I'm not necessarily following it because I've used this line since school. So pretty much since I first became an esthetician, or since I started esthetician school, so I'm pretty familiar with it and I feel really comfortable with the products. So if you are an esthetician and you are using this line or you're new to using this line, I do recommend reading over the protocol before making any changes necessary or making any changes that you feel is necessary. Also, maybe even talking to your rep about what changes can be made to the protocol. I did look over it and I figured what was best for my client for tonight. So now here I am finally dermaplaning her face. And my method is actually dry dermaplaning. That's how I was taught. They also have oil dermaplaning where people use oil and everything. But because I don't want to clog her pores or I don't want to I don't know. That's just how I was trained. I was trained to not use oil. I have used oil before and I did like it. So it's really just kind of based on like my mood and where I stand, or even just the skin, like the client's skin too. Because sometimes the client's skin is way too dry, and so dry dermaplaning will actually cause burns and scratches and things like that, micro tears. But if the skin is pretty decently hydrated or moisturized, then I don't mind doing a dry dermaplane on them. I do the nose as well as the mustache if it's requested. I typically try to ask for about the mustache because I know not everyone like touches their lip. However, the nose I do include it. Okay, so now that I am done dermaplaning and tweezing, I am doing some mixology with the Australian Superberry mask and the lactic acid peel, also by Circadia. So the lactic acid is going to be exfoliating. It's going to be for exfoliating, hydrating, and it is a gel-based peel, so it doesn't have any downtime. Mixing the Australian Superberry with the lactic, there was a little bit of flaking, and you'll see pictures at the end of the video, but it wasn't so much that like she couldn't leave her house, if that makes sense. Like, flaking is one thing, but like full-blown peeling, shedding skin is a whole other thing. So yeah, so I just mixed the two together, creating this powerhouse of AHAs and tyrosinase inhibitors between the lactic acid, the mandelic acid that's inside of the superberry mask, along with the azelaic acid as well. If anyone is on Accutane, glycolic, or salicylic, this isn't something that I would necessarily do for them, unless they come off of it for like maybe a good 2 weeks to a month. So I'm just applying this all over her skin, especially in her chin and neck area, because I don't know if you can see, but that's where the majority of her hyperpigmentation is. As you can see with this mix, there is no like sensations that she's really feeling necessarily. Like, if anything, there's probably mild tingling, but that's about it. Because I mean, we're able to talk through this whole facial, so yeah. Because I mixed the peel with the mask, I'm opting to use a fan brush. If I'm doing a chemical peel of any form, any type, it doesn't matter what facial it is. If a chemical peel is included in the facial at all, I'm going to use a fan brush. That is probably the only time I will for sure use a fan brush. Or if I'm doing like an advanced protocol, an advanced treatment. So like an oxygen treatment or something, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm just making sure that I really get into her neck area here, where she does have some creases. I like to call it like the baby neck. I kind of have it too, where like I still have my like baby folds under my neck. It's kind of funny. And then the tip of her little nose. Just making sure that every part is covered, so that way she gets an even tone brightening, facial, if that makes sense. So that way it all comes out evenly. 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 So that way it all comes out Okay, so this was just a small waiting period. Now we're about to go in and gently massage it in. I'm not actually pressing it into her skin. I'm just like very light touch, borderline almost like lymphatic drainage a little bit, similar to a lymphatic drainage massage as far as the touch goes. And I'm just massaging it deeper into her skin without necessarily pressing into her skin. So think of it like a feather touch, if that makes sense. Super light, not necessarily pressing in, just very gentle. Okay, now that I have did the removal of all of the product, I'm just going in and making sure that I get it out of her cracks, crevices, her nose, making sure that there's no more of that product on there. And then I'm going to go in with the PK neutralizer spray, and this is basically going to neutralize the lactic acid pill that was on her skin. So it's going to neutralize her skin, bringing it back to its normal pH balance. Now I'm just going to go in with a 4x4 and just lightly soak up any excess that is on her skin. And I just do this by gently pressing the 4x4 on her skin. I'm not necessarily going to wipe it or like cause any like extra friction on the skin with this. I just want to lightly, very gently like press it onto the skin to soak up whatever is there. So now I'm going in with the post pill balm. I do have a second camera set up, which is why you see me kind of showing product on both sides. But I'm going to go in with the post pill balm, and I am actually going to go in with that by itself sometimes, depending on what's happening. I will just mix the sunscreen with the moisturizer and combine two steps into one. But for this particular situation, because it's nighttime, I'm only going to do the post pill balm. She doesn't need sunscreen at night. Now, her aftercare notes is to have sunscreen for the next, well, period. Honestly, sunscreen should be worn every day. But her aftercare notes is for her to wear sunscreen starting the next morning, and not necessarily doing anything too crazy to her skin. So, yeah. I don't know what we're watching on TV at this point. I know we were watching a music video or something because, yeah. I don't know what that was. I probably started singing or something. Who knows? I think at this point, I was just really tired between the workout and then doing her facial and then also just tending to my home and everything. So, yeah. And that's basically the end of her facial. And as promised, the photos are coming up next. So, hopefully, you guys get to kind of see and enjoy it. I'm putting this back on because I forgot to take her after photos. So, yeah. Bye. I'll see you guys later.